danger. Extreme weather events, which are becoming more frequent, severe, damaging, and unpredictable as a result of human-caused climate change, are wreaking extreme havoc on communities with alarming regularity all across our country and all across the world. So far, we have a new U.S. record of $23 billion extreme weather disasters in a year, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Right now, New England is bracing for the effects of Hurricane Lee, with powerful winds and coastal flooding expected. In less than 24 hours, Lee intensified from a Category 1 to a Category 5, and that's because the waters off our shores are so much hotter than they've ever been. The Gulf of Maine right now is warming faster than 97% of the world's ocean surface. We have another name for the Gulf of Maine. We call it Boston Harbor. So obviously, we are at the center of this warming trend of the waters of the world. When extreme weather arrives at our doorsteps, we have to be prepared. From Barnstable to Boston, we must hope for the best and get ready for the worst. Please stay aware of your own surroundings. Check for updates from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, and check in with any loved ones as the next couple of days arrive. We have vulnerable family, we have friends who could be impacted, so we just have to make sure that everyone pays attention. Earlier this week, Leominster got inundated with nearly 10 inches of rain in nearly 6 hours, with as much as $35 million in damage to infrastructure and millions more in damages to homes and businesses there. We are witnessing yet again the human, environmental, and economic costs of how our climate is changing. Sinkholes, evacuations, totaled cars, hospitals off the grid. Everything is affected by this climate emergency. It's clear. The climate crisis is happening at any time, anywhere, and everywhere. Globally, this past summer was the hottest on record. The first 2 weeks of July contained all top 10 hottest days on Earth ever recorded. And back home in Massachusetts, we saw a once-in-a-millennia flood in western Massachusetts this July, which wiped out millions of dollars of crops and devastated farmers and local residents. This extreme weather isn't a coincidence. It's the climate crisis announcing its arrival. It's not bad luck. It's years of deliberate obstruction of the changes we need to make to stop the climate crisis and secure a livable future. And we also need to act fast to combat the impacts of extreme weather we're experiencing right now. We need to declare that the climate crisis is a federal emergency, a permanent federal emergency. We need to end our dependence on fossil fuels, which cause climate chaos and leave families vulnerable to price hikes fixed by overseas cartels. Saudi Arabia taking another 1 million barrels of oil off the global market so they can jack up prices at the gasoline pumps all across America, tipping American consumers upside down and shaking money out of their pockets because of our dependence upon imported oil from Saudi Arabia. This must end. We have to end this era of fossil fuel dependence. We have to ensure that these cartels, and by the way, our own American companies are part of the cartel as well. We need to build more resilient communities, and we need to pass my Green New Deal for Health Act so that we can build a health system that will work before, during, and after an extreme weather crisis. We need to hold polluters accountable so that they don't get to pad their pockets while putting our communities in danger. We know that the climate crisis doesn't affect every community equally. Frontline communities are disproportionately threatened by natural disasters, particularly low-income children, communities of color, but we need solutions solutions that are just and equitable, solutions that both protect and invest in the places that have been historically under-resourced. That is why I fought so hard to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant investment in environmental justice and climate action in the history of not only our country, but any country in the world. It's our first shot at building an economy that works for all of us and doesn't work against our chance at a livable future. And that's why I'm going to keep working for disaster relief for communities across the Commonwealth. Leominster deserves better. Western Massachusetts deserves better. We all deserve better than to go from one disaster to another. By facing the climate emergency head on, by turning to clean, renewable energy, and by investing in climate solutions, we can go from disaster to discovery of a better world for everyone. The people of Massachusetts are resilient. We need investments that are resilient as well. So we thank everyone for their concern about this issue. There's another event that is about to transpire here in New England, which will give us just one more warning of why we have to telescope the time frame that it's going to take in order to completely change to a green energy, a clean energy economy, and be the global leaders in doing so. So thank you all so much for joining.